Hey guys, this is Nick from Financially Aware, and in this video I want to talk about the craziness that's going on in the stock market right now and give you examples of what's going on, some reasons on why it's happening, and give you examples of how it's very similar to what was going on during the internet bubble in 1999. I know, I was there, I saw it all, so I remember a lot of the stuff. So let's start off with one of the reasons why this is happening. One, you got obviously the Fed. He just came out and said that they're going to do anything they can to support the market, and even before that they were buying up bonds and stuff. So people have the idea that no matter what happens, the Fed's going to step in and take care of the market. Number two, you got all these people that are staying at home. They got this free trading apps with no commissions, and now they're getting unemployment checks and stimulus checks sitting at home, and they're out there, gambling on all these stocks now, and just kind of like a flock of locusts all jumping towards one stock. Whoever points a finger and says, go buy this stock, they all go there and buy it and bid it up. And, the early people make money, the people that are late, end up holding the bag. So that's kind of how it usually is. So you got this guy, Dave Portnoy, who I believe is the founder of Barstool Sports, a sport website or something like that. And he's been doing these videos recently about how much money he's making in the airline stocks and the shipping stocks and all this stuff, and saying that Warren Buffett is an idiot, he's past his prime, he doesn't know what he's doing, and that he's now the greatest trader and Warren Buffett is nothing and stuff like that. You got to take it with a grain of salt. The guy's trying to promote his website and stuff, so part of it is probably kind of an act to get notoriety for people to go to his website, but part of it is kind of a little bit bragging that he's been making some money lately and stuff like that, and it's gotten to his head. And he's kind of like an example of, I think, a lot of people where they think that all they got to do is buy whatever hot stock they see on some website or something like that, and it's guaranteed money. After seeing these bankrupt stocks like Hertz and Penney and stuff go up, they think it's so easy. So when people in the stock market think it's simple to make money, that's usually a sign of the top of the market. And another example is this stock, FANGDD, FANGDD, stock symbol DUO. It's a Chinese stock that trades almost never and is at $10 for like the last year, and it went up to $130 yesterday, gapped down like $50 today, and is back down to like $15. So it did basically a whole round trip, but went up 1,300% in one day for no reason other than maybe people think that it's somehow, by buying this stock, you're buying some kind of ETF of the FAANG stocks or something like that, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. Who knows? It's probably a little mixture of both of that, but there's going to be a lot of bag holders on this stock, I guarantee that. And the other thing is, if you look at Google search terms and look at the terms for day trading and call options, they've gone through the roof from like an average of like 30 or 40 for the last few years to like up to 100 in just the last few months. So that's what's on people's minds, that they're going to day trade their way to financial freedom or riches or whatever, and buying call options because everything just always goes up. And so other indications like the put to call ratio and stuff like that just show that everybody is so overly bullish on the market, and usually that's the time when they pull the rug out from everybody and a lot of people lose money. So to me, it feels like a blow off top, and I'll explain a little bit better what that is in a minute, but it really feels like the euphoria in 1999 during the internet times. And I don't know if you ever seen any of these old ads for the online brokers when they came out, but all the ads were basically that all you had to do was get online and you would be richer than everybody, richer than those old stock brokers and all that stuff. It was just so easy. You just get online, buy stuff, and you become rich. And one of the greatest examples of this mentality is this Discover brokerage ad for this guy who's a tow truck driver. But check out the video for yourself. It's like a minute long, and you'll see it pretty much sums up the whole feeling at that time.
You read Barron's? Oh yeah, all the time. That's the one where they rate all the online brokers. They use Discover brokerage. They've been Barron's top pick for like the last 3 years. You invest online? Oh yeah, big time. Well, the last few years anyway. I'm retired now. You're retired? Oh, I don't need to do this. I just, like helping people. Vacation spot? Actually, it's a picture of my house. That's an island. Well, technically it's a country. Weird thing about owning your own country, though. You gotta name it.
So you see after watching that video that all you had to do was buy stocks and you could own your own island. And the stodgy, guy with the suit and tie with his BMW getting towed, he's the old-fashioned guy, and he doesn't understand. And that's kind of what people are thinking today. Warren Buffett, he's the old buy and hold value guy. You don't need that. All you need to know is whatever the latest bankruptcy stock is and just buy it. Oh, and by the way, click on that like button. I want people to click on that like button like as if it was the buy button on their Robinhood app and they just found out about a new bankrupt stock. So hit that buy button and hit that like button for me. It helps me a lot with the YouTube algorithm. So another thing is, I don't know if people know this, but do you know who Barbra Streisand is? You probably heard of her, maybe don't know her very well. She's a big time singer and a movie actress in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. Well, during 1999, there were all these stories like in Fortune magazine, I think, and a few other ones talking about how great of a day trader she was, and her routine for trading stocks. She'd wake up in the morning, at 6:30 because she's in California. That's, New York time and blah, blah, blah. And she got money from her friend Kate Spade, the bag maker, gave her $1 million to trade for her. And she turned it into $1.8 million and all this stuff, and it's like feeding the idea that it's just so easy and anybody can do it, and Barbra Streisand and everybody is getting rich doing that. It's simple, right? It's kind of the same feeling that they're pushing out there right now, and it's like a turbocharged version of it. To give you another example, this is one I remember. So all of these stocks were changing their name or their focus to internet companies, or they were adding .com to their name, and that would make their stock price go up and gap up like crazy because nobody cared what they did, if they made money or anything like that. As long as they had .com in their name, they would bid it up like crazy. And one really crazy example I remember was this one stock, and it gapped up huge in the morning, and I was looking at it and I was like, why did it gap up? And I see the news, and the way it works is that these companies would, pay companies to put out press releases. And in the press release, if you mentioned another company and, it was a public company, their ticker would be in there, say like Intel. If you said something about Intel, it would have their ticker in a hyperlink, and that would show up on the news in, say, Yahoo Finance under news for Intel, right? So somebody gamed the system there and came out with a news report saying that the company was now, entered into a financial contract with Dell, Microsoft, and Intel, right? So that news means that stock ticker showed up in the news of Dell, Microsoft, and Intel. So whenever anybody opens up in the morning to see the news on Intel and Microsoft, they see that stock ticker and say, oh, look, this small company has some contract with these big guys. Let me go buy it up, right? And that's exactly what people did. They didn't even bother, looking into the news. So what was the great news about this huge contract with these big companies? The news was that this company went and bought a couple of computers from Dell, 5-10 computers, and that was the contract. So the contract was that they bought some computers with Dell that happened to have Intel microprocessors and the Microsoft operating system in it. So they said, well, we entered into this contract and it has these companies, and so we're not lying, and that's what it is, and if you ask us, we'll tell you. But they didn't really spell it out in the news, and so that kind of thing drove stocks up like crazy. And now you're seeing it with bankrupt stocks. It's so ridiculous. I saw one comment of somebody saying people are using their unemployment checks to buy bankrupt stocks. Now think about how crazy that sounds, and yet a lot of people are thinking, hey, there's nothing wrong with that as long as I'm making money, as long as it's going up, then let's do that. This is all gonna end badly, I guarantee it. There's nothing new under the sun. This stuff happens all the time. It just keeps happening to a new crop of investors who haven't seen it before or been burnt before. And so what is a blow off top? A blow off top is when the market gets so euphoric. It could be in a single stock, it could be in the whole market, where it's almost vertical. It's the market gaps up like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It's just gaps. It's so euphoric, and then it immediately just collapses. And that's kind of like if you look at the stock chart of DUO, that 2-day chart is kind of like a blow off top that usually happens in markets over a few weeks or something. It's just so euphoric, all the shorts cover, everybody is in the market, and it's just gapping up every day. People expect 10% gap ups every day, and then one day it just completely turns around and everybody's rushing to the exit. So it's like a volcano that blows its top, and then it's just all downhill from there. And that's really what it feels like maximum exuberance. So that's my video, and really be cautious about not buying into these, bankruptcies and all these really speculative things that everybody's saying you're going to make 1,000% and stuff, because most people end up holding the bag on that thing. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment if you think this is a blow off top, or if you think we got a lot way higher to go before the market turns. And as always, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching.